have only one relationship, and it's the one that we have with ourselves. All the others simply don't exist. It seems like they exist. It seems like we are surrounded by so many people and we have so many relationships. We are being born as children to a family, and we have relationships with our parents and brothers and cousins, and we have friends that we gather through the years, and we go to work and study and meet new people, and of course we signal one and we choose to have a relationship with him, a romantic relationship, and this is a different kind of relationship. But in fact, all these people, all these passing phenomena, just like us, are not real. The only difference is that we know we exist because we feel like we exist. We feel that our very essence is alive because we perceive the world and we act in the world inside the body. So we know for sure that we exist and we are this thing that is alive. All the others, just like everything else we see in the world, we don't experience their reality through their viewpoint, so we can never know for sure that they exist. The only thing we can be sure of is that we ourselves exist. And this is also not true, of course, because this is only the illusion of the body, the illusion of ourselves, but inside the range of illusions that surrounds us, it's the most easy one to believe, and it's the basic ground on which we stand. We know we are this name, title, person. We are this character because we live that character. So if I'm saying we only have a relationship with ourselves, I mean that we cannot have anything other than the relationship that is happening inside this separate form, passing phenomena, in which we are trapped and we identify with. So we identify with the character, this is us, and we have a relationship with that passing phenomena. The first thing we need to understand is that all the phenomena are not real. But because right now Simcha is speaking through a body and a character, and you are listening through a body and a character, we will act as though Simcha is real and you are real. And we will narrow it down to only one real thing, you. When in fact it's not true. You yourself is unreal, just as the others that surround you and the reality that surrounds you. So this is the first observation or thought. Nothing is real, but let's pretend that you are real, because it feels so crazy for me to say that you are not real, as you perceive yourself as a separate character. So let's pretend that one of these phenomena is real. It is not. But when I say that the only relationship you have is with yourself, is because the one thing that you perceive as reality is what you feel and think about reality. Because you know that because it is happening inside of you. And I can ask you to try and look at the world in a different way, to try to look at the world around you, what surrounds you, as something you create, the separate form. You create your world, and of course you create the people in it, and of course you create your interactions with them, and this is what you call a relationship. When in fact you are all the same oneness, endless, infinite quietness. It looks like there is a separate form and it has a relationship with another separate form. We can try to look at the separate forms that surround you as reflections of the inner psychological structures that you chose to express. And you can see that these people and persons reflect your inner ability to express and, and experience love. Because we build an entire universe around this separate form. Each separate form builds an entire universe to suit the way it wants to express itself. They are all the same oneness, all at the same time. There is no division in the separate forms, in the characters, in the nature of things. And when you look at the separate form, which is you, and you see what surrounds it, you can easily see what kind of universe you decided for yourself, we decided for ourselves that it will express. The relationships we have in our lives reflect in a very loyal kind of way the inner structure of the separate form and the points on which she has to work in order to become the most evolved potential that you can, because relationships very often lead to problems and challenges. Relationships are a live thing. They force us to express ourselves against something. Something demands that we address it. Something demands that we have a personal point of view, values, or that we just take control over our temper, over who we are. If the nature of the separate form needs to work on itself, relationship will show it constantly what she has to do. So instead of being frustrated that the people around you and the relationships you have are not good, try to see why. Why do you do that to yourself? What those relationships are trying very lovingly to show you. Because there is no one else other than you. All the others are these reflections of your ability to communicate. How do you communicate with yourself? The best way you can see other people as if they were one with you, part of you. Like a great big machine, you work together. You have the same goal. You have the same aspiration. All this oneness ultimately wants to wake up, wants to feel and know itself through every individual. And though, even if one individual wakes up, this whole thing is awake, and now it is awake while I'm speaking, because this separate form knows itself. In the illusion, there are still people, and they are still trapped in this great unknowing. So even though it's not true, and you are not trapped anywhere, and you are free, and you are endless, and you are infinite, and you are so blessed, even though you don't exist. Simcha is saying those words. And she is saying that in order to see what is this thing, you have to look at the separate form and the world around it as one, and see the great teachers, our relationships, the ones in our lives that are causing us the most aliveness to express. They cause the aliveness to express. If it's anger about someone that we have a relationship with and he makes us angry, or if it's someone that makes us love so much that we can, like our child, this is a wonderful relationship of unlimited love. So there is a whole range of emotions and feelings that we express through relationships that we couldn't have done it in any other way, other than seeing our reflection built as a separate form that is walking around us, that looks like it is answering us, it is talking to us. This other person is talking to me, and we have a conversation, or he's doing something to me, and I don't like it, and I want to get back at him. So I have a bad relationship with him. All these things are the grand illusion of separateness. And in fact, there are all these beautiful, beautiful mirrors. It's like a giant mirror maze. You get inside the maze, which is life, which is our lives. And you see your reflections in any mirror you come across. You see yourself in a distorted way as a short, ugly person, which can mean that you meet someone that you don't like and you have a relationship with him. But he is still you. He is still your reflection. It doesn't matter what kind of shape the reflection takes. It is always your reflection. The people around you are always you. And when you realize this simple but crucial fact, you can never look at other people the same way. You can never have the same kind of relationship with them, because you look at them in a different kind of way. You know that they are you, so you have a greater interest to love them and respect them and understand what they want. You want to make peace with yourself. We have problems in our relationships because we don't understand this simple truth, because we believe that these people are separate from us and we should either be afraid of them or love them or depend on what they think about us, when in fact they don't exist and it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what we think and how we act inside those relationships. It's a one-way street. There is no one on the other side of the phone that we speak to. Speak to ourselves. We can hear someone answering, and this someone is us. Always. Always us. So how can we have problems in our relationships? We cannot have problems in our relationship. We can only have problems with ourselves. We try to make the relationships in our lives work by trying to understand the other person and by believing that they are separate forms with separate circumstances and they are not connected to us. And so we try to make this connection, when in fact the only thing we should do is look at ourselves inside the relationship. What do we bring? If we draw to our existence, to our world, healthy, beautiful relationships, It's an indication that we are in acceptance of who we are and that we are on the right way to becoming a very evolved version of ourselves, and the byproduct is knowing who we truly are. But until we do that, we must see our relationships, the ones that surround us, as the reflections of ourselves who's trying very consistently to tell us something, to teach us something. And this is a great lesson because it seems like we have to make an effort for someone else. It seems like they do exist. It seems like they have a free will of their own and they are doing something that is not in our plan, and we are working in contrary of something. It's so real. How can it be that they are merely us in a disguise? And this is the grand leap we have to make in order for us to look at our lives and our reality in a different way. Humanity sees separation, humanity sees people, and the people has to come together and become as one, when in fact the people are already one. They don't have to come together, they only have to express their unique separate form. And this happens when you yourself express your unique separate form. By expressing yourself, you allow others to express themselves. By becoming a more evolved person that aspires to healthy relationships, that aspires to see what is the obstacle inside the relationship you have, and how can you solve it. By addressing this problem, you evolve. And let's say you are in a relationship with someone who doesn't fit you, and it's not working, and it's bad, and it's bad. It's bad for you, but it is also bad for your reflection, which is the one you are in relationship with. And when you don't deal with that, even if it means separating from the thing that is an obstacle for you and for him, and if you don't do that, both of you are being drawn down. Not saving yourself is not saving anyone else. You drown, the ship goes down with you. So you can't sacrifice yourself just to mend someone else or take care of someone else. Just take your life force and give it to someone else. This is not healthy. You have to see what is the best way you can take care of yourself inside the relationship. Because if you don't, you hurt also the one you are in relationship with. You can't do bad things to yourself and someone else will feel better. You can't do that. This is an illusion. It's a very common one, that we can fix people by giving up on something in ourselves, when in fact we mustn't do that. We must express ourselves, and the reflection which is in our relationship, which is not healthy if she demands us to sacrifice ourselves, cannot evolve unless we evolve, unless we show it what we are. And then she can go on the different journey and evolve in the way it should, without your pushing it to this place. It cannot do that. So if you want your relationships to be healthy, you have to be loyal to yourself. Of course, this is the tagline, loyalty. And see how you help yourself. If you are in a loving relationship, in a love affair, you mustn't forget who you are just because you are in love. You mustn't sacrifice the person that you are for something that doesn't exist. It's only a reflection. You will never find in another person the things that you must find inside your separate form, your character, you. This is the only relationship you have to nurture, you have to build. This is a great illusion that you can find something in someone. You can be inspired by someone. You can do things with someone, but they are the means to an end, your end. You are the only thing that exists because you know that you exist. And so use the people in your life in a healthy way. Build things with them. You have to have mutual respect. You have to get the respect you deserve. You deserve respect. If you do not get respect, it is because you do not respect yourself. And the relationships you have reflects that. And maybe it is impossible in your surrounding to gain the respect you deserve. But it is a great difference if you believe that you don't deserve respect, or if you know that only the illusion of the circumstances reflects that you are in a surrounding that doesn't deserve you. And so you know deep inside you are quiet, you are strong because you know you have an enormous worth, you are worthy. And they don't know that, and it's okay, because you inside yourself feel your own value. You don't need the approval of the outer circumstances. The only respect you need is from yourself. The only love you need is from yourself. You can only draw true love from people by being love itself to yourself, by accepting yourself, by expressing yourself. And all the reflections that you get and all these moods and emotions that arise through these relationships just come to show you where you are. When it comes to relationships, it's like a great big map. You are here in your personal journey for growth, for being the best version that you can be. This is where you are. You can look at it and see where you are and what can you do to make this thing work better, to feel better inside you, to interact better, to get results from people you didn't imagine you can get results just by looking at them as if they were part of you, just a mere reflection, as grand teachers of yourself that compel you to act. The one thing that is, the one relationship that you have is the one that you have with yourself. And I wish you a loving, healthy relationship with yourself. I wish you to be quiet inside, understand who you are. I wish that you can know how wonderful you are and express it. And if you understand what you are, what your value is, and express it, I guarantee that the relationships in your life will change for the better. See the change in your reality while dealing with your inner structure, while acting, while choosing to have a healthy relationship with yourself.
Nothing good, nothing bad, nothing ventured, nothing gained, nothing